Oh, third grade. How you doing? Having a good day today? What do you think? Do you think this snow and cold's ever going to go away? Oh, well. I hope you're doing pretty good there. Fox, you keeping up with us? You keeping paying attention? Good, good, good. Okay, I want to show you guys this book, but I also want to talk about something more than just a picture book. Yeah, it's a nice little easy book, and I usually read this to a first grader. Charlie, I read it to your kindergarten sister. But it's the kind of book that I think if you guys pay attention, you can kind of learn a little bit about it. Because one of the things that's really good about it is it's a really good art book, and it's a really good word book. Charlie, Millie, how you doing today? Okay, so what I want you to look at is the pictures, but also we're going to talk about how the words do double duty. It's sort of like a poetry book that the words say other things that help it right along. And the fact that it's a Caldecott book means it's one of the best picture books of the year. This is an honorable mention. Going Down Home with Daddy. Written by Kelly Starling Lyons and illustrated by Daniel Minter. So, we start out here with like a little bit of a watercolor there. Kind of little design, doesn't tell us a whole lot. Water design adds the title. And then now we're going into the words. The watercolors are getting a little darker and colorful right there. But if you look at it, it's kind of like one thing, but it's a shadow of other things. You can kind of see the trees and everything in the background if you look at it. So as an artist, they're kind of telling a couple stories, the trees and things. And the trees kind of factor into the story at some point, and I hope to remember it when we get to it. On reunion morning, we rise early before the sun. Daddy hums as he packs our car, and with the suitcases and a cooler full of snacks, he says there's nothing like going down home. So you see, he's packing the car and he's putting snacks in it. So you kind of, without him even saying too much, that they're going to be driving for a while because they got snacks and they're going to go someplace. And you see this? They're walking into night because it's before the sun has come up and the lights from the things, and then it just kind of comes vague over there. Kind of the picture from one page to another moves along with there. And that these original kind of picture right here are starting to get a little more colorful over here in that area. We leave with the sky is still dark with sleep. So there's one right there. So the sky is still dark with sleep. What does that mean? Millie? Yeah, that's not too bad. What do you think? You got a guess there, Joseph? Yeah. I think it means that, like, most people are sleeping at this time, and night hasn't woken up, and when night wakes up, it becomes day. Sis closed her eyes, but mine stay wide open. I watch as we drive from the city streets to flowing highways under the sweep of a sparkling star. Little Alan, Mom says after a while. You better catch some Z's while you can. I try to get rest, but I can't stop smiling, and soon I'll get to see great-grandma Granny and hang out with my cousins. But when I look at my hands, empty as the road in front of us. My grin fades, the anniversary celebration. I bet everyone will have something to share except me. So, they're up really early, and if you've ever driven early in the morning, you'll know that there's not very many cars on the road. And when he looks at his hands, they're empty, just like the road is empty. So the pictures is telling you he's a little sad and worried at the same time. But his sister, she's content to take a nap. Do you know why that is, Fox? Yeah, it's kind of hard to know, but if you think about it, you're going to figure it out in a second. Mackenzie, you like the picture? It's okay? Okay. So there's the nighttime now. We're going to switch it up on you. So we go from nighttime right here, and then it's daytime when they show up. And one of the things that I really, really like about this is, well, it's got 3 or 4 different levels, but you can see way, way in the distance the car coming. Where did I see that? I gotta flip it around. Right there's the car. And I hope the lighting's working okay. And then you see Grandma there. But look at the chickens. What do you got on the chickens right there? What do you see in the chickens there, Mackenzie? Well, yeah, the chickens, but what? Yeah, they got like wrapping paper on it. So they're separating the chickens out from the people, and then she's feeding, and you're going to hear in the words that they're feeding the chickens, and there's the little corn over here. What's funny is it's just white corn, but listen to how the author describes the corn in the book. I doze off in a cloud of worry and wake up to sunbeams tickling my face. So he's worried about something he doesn't have. And he's really not in a cloud, but his mind is kind of like a cloud. See how those words are working double time? So he falls asleep in a cloud. And when you're sleeping, you're kind of like in another kind of distance area. And then he wakes up, it's dark, then he wakes up, and he's kind of waking up because sunshine is coming in the windows and they're tickling his face. I squint to see a familiar John Deere tractor store and a gray silo standing in attention. Do the silos really do attention? No, but they stand straight up. We're almost there. Sis and I sat straight up as pines. That's one of the things I wanted to tell you. Straight up. You ever been like, I know you guys have seen pine trees that are skinny and tall. How many people are straight as a pine tree? Most of us are kind of slumped over, but when we see Grandma, we're straightened up. And when we see Granny's wood house, she's right where we left her after last year's reunion, scattering corn for the chicken. Tiny bits of gold. So corn isn't really that valuable, but when she's throwing it out in the morning sun, and these little yellow things, they're corn, but over here, it's only white. But the words make you see the color of the corn coming out. There she is, Sis shouts. Granny spreads her arms wide and wraps us both inside. Wraps her up right into the fold. My, she says, and showers our cheeks with peppermint kisses. I miss those days. So it would almost sound like she's giving the kids little peppermints, and everybody's seen Hershey Kisses, but really, Grandma probably eats peppermint a lot, and so when she kisses the kids on the cheeks and all over, they can feel and smell the peppermint. I miss you so, Grandma says. All afternoon, a parade of family comes home. Grandma Loretta and Grandpa James, aunts and uncles, and more cousins than I can count. Got a head just like your daddy, Uncle Jay says. Daddy's eyes twinkle. Now I know you're not talking about heads. And what he's really saying is, he looks just like you. That's your boy, looking exactly the same. Can't take him anywhere, Grandma Loretta says, laughing because 2 of her boys are kind of making fun of each other. And so, you got the adults over here, you got the loving over here on this side and there, and then you see the little shadows of the kids. And I'm sorry to keep moving on this, but I'm going to hold it in a second. Now look you can see one of them playing with a little paddle ball. See all the things that are going on in that picture? It's the same way the words are spinning around, all the action is also spinning around. While the grown-ups catch up, we cousins run to the fence to visit Granny's cows and goats. You doing something for the celebration? Isaiah asks Sis. Singing Grandma's favorite song. His eyes is on the sparrow, she says. How about you? Reading Mother to Son by Langston Hughes. So they're talking about the tradition of things that they've done in the past. And Langston Hughes is a poet. And then, I made a scrapbook in Granny's favorite color blue, Devin says. You got anything, little Alan? And he kicks a stone, and his eyes start burning. Ready for a tractor ride? Sis asks, saving me from having to answer. So, Joseph, what do you think? Why would he kick a stone and his eyes burn. Was that the son? Yeah, he's kind of sad. And without really saying he's really sad, the author is able to say he's acting sad by kicking a stone and his eyes are burning. And they're all bragging over here about what they're going to do. And of course, little Alan right there, he's looking away because he's realizing when they get together and they do a little bit of a celebration, Grandma expects them all to read a story, tell a poem, or sing a song, and little Alan doesn't have any yet. Doesn't have anything yet. But fortunately, he doesn't have to admit that yet because little big sis takes and tells him, let's all go for a tractor ride. I swallow hard and I climb into the trailer with Sis and Mama, and I lean against the hay as Daddy drives us past the smokehouse and the fishing pond and rumble by the fields dotted with puffs of white. Now there's some words right there that are kind of nice. That the fields are dotted with puffs of white. So it's down south. Who has a guess of what that puff? Yeah, go ahead. Good job, Fox. It's like these cotton balls. And what I like about the pictures, instead of painting the cotton balls in the actual pictures, cotton crop is all part of their life, so they just kind of spread that over there. And he doesn't really have to say cotton if you know that down south that cotton growing is real popular. And then if you haven't figured it out by now, listen to the words, not in the words describing it, but the words that are talking. Cotton has always been on this land a long time, just like us, Daddy says. Pa would drive your Uncle Jay and me a tractor just like this one. Look to your left, Pa would say. Look to your right. The land just seems to go on forever, everywhere. Everything you see, Pa says, is ours. And for a lot of families, being able to look at the land or what you own, you know that's who you are. It's a part of what you are. And I think about what Daddy said, and I sit up tall. Pa is gone. That's their great-grandpa. But this is our time to come together and remember. So the family gets together, and they all go to the family farm where all of their land and everything is, and they get together, and they all become family together as opposed to family separated out. Daddy's words make me want to share more than ever. When the ride stops, I ask him what to do. I think with your heart, little Alan, Daddy says. That's what Pa always told me. Think with your heart. Just then we hear Granny, come on, this food get it while it's hot, she calls from the porch. So they're having a father and son talk. And he's saying, do what's in your heart. They got all the pictures and they're looking at each other. And if you remember, I'm going to flip back a couple pages. When he's sleeping, oops, way back more. See how his eyelids are right here there? And he's got that kind of square head a little bit. Well, look who's also got kind of eyelids right there. And they're looking at each other. And they both got glasses. Remember Uncle Jay was saying he's got your head? Another thing Uncle Jay was saying is he wasn't just saying you got the same size head. He's also saying he's got your same mind, thinking the same way. And Daddy doesn't have to say a whole lot. He just asks little Al to think. I'm going to take a quick little break here and ask you a question, and we're going to go into a commercial and be back. Why do you think he's called Little Al? Why do you think? Joe? Yeah. Well, he's small. But he also is probably, we go back that page before, they're probably both Allens. Big Alan and Little Alan. Dad's called Alan, and the son's called Alan. And everybody in the family probably calls Little Alan, so they know that they're not talking about the dad when they're calling. Okay, let's take a break, and we'll be right back.
Wow. Hey, time to take a break and wash your hands. Scrub-a-dub-dub, scrub-a-dub-dub, scrub-a-dub-dub. Good job. You got those hands washed? Back to our story.
Okay, welcome back. So, there we are. Everybody's all together. We dash inside. The dining room overflows with love-made dishes. Smoked turkey, collard, mac and cheese, okra, tomatoes, and biscuits oozing with mayhaw jelly, just like Daddy likes. Hand in hand, we create a ring inside the house Pa built for Grandma. Now, there's a really good thing. So they're making a circle, holding hands, but he doesn't say we make a circle, we make a ring. And it's a ring around the table because it's a circle. And the added touch of our family all together is this is the house that Grandpa built, and they're still living in it. The family and generations down coming to it. Hand in hand, we create a ring inside the house. Pa built for Grandma, Granny. Heart to heart, we share what we are thankful for. Nothing is more important than family, Granny says, tearing up as she looks at her faces. Amens all around. So Granny's telling what the most important thing is. And it might be the farm a little bit, but really, she's just so happy to have the whole family together and to see each other. And that's the most important thing. And I think one of the things, if we can bring it to today, is there's going to be a time when you look back and you're going to say, God, remember when we had a month or so and our family got together and we couldn't go anywhere, but we spent a lot of quality time with each other? Hopefully you'll remember that, and that'll be the most important thing that you can get out of it. The good times you're having that had nothing to do if you had a PlayStation or not. On Sunday, I feel sick. Not a fever and sneezing sick, but I wish I had more time sick. The celebration starts at dusk. Get a move on, little Alan, Grandma Loretta says. You know Granny doesn't play. Growing up, we never missed a service. At church, Daddy points to the spot where he and Uncle Jay performed a duet on trombone and trumpet. My hands were shaking so much I could barely play, Daddy says. But then I saw Granny smiling, and my jitters went away. I wonder if looking at Granny will help me. But our eyes meet, and all I can think of is being the only kid with nothing to say. So, I don't know if you guys can kind of ever remember a time where you were about ready to do the school concert, and the curtain opened, where you went up on the stage, and the lights were there, and you looked at the audience, and you just saw everybody, and you were a little afraid. But then you found a family member, and they smiled at you, and you kind of relaxed. That's how Daddy was. But you were able to relax because you knew what your song was. You just weren't used to it. But little Alan, he doesn't quite know what he's going to do when all the kids get up and perform for the older people. After service, we head back to Granny's and change into our reunion t-shirts. Generations of our family smile from every wall. Mama, Sis, and I peer at the black and white pictures of Pa and Granny. Their eyes are brave and bold and remind me of Daddy's. You have their eyes too, Mama says. So remember how their heads looked like the same? Well, the eyes look like the same too, because Grandpa and Alan, and then, well, Great-Grandpa, Pa they call him, and then Big Alan and Little Alan, they all kind of look the same because they've gone down the families. That's when it comes to me, and I think about everything I see when I'm here. I think about the tractor ride. I think about Daddy's stories. I think about walking in Pa and Grandma's footsteps. And those of the people and native people long before, I think and I collect treasures from our land, and I lift my head up to the sun. So a couple things right here. I'm sure you guys have, maybe not round pictures, but different family member pictures from way back. Maybe even relatives that you've never seen that are on the wall. And then they're in church and they're thinking positive thoughts. And Alan's probably finally feeling really, really good. And you can see he's looking up a little bit over here because it's come to him. He's got something to say at the reunion the next day. And I want to keep reminding you how, like in the background, we can see that watercolor from inside these pictures. See the layers of everything that connect everything. Best way to do it is like that. Okay? And then it's like that as well. But it changes from day to day. I know, like Mackenzie, she's always talking about her different grandma and her brothers and connection. And guys, even though they're a little bit different, they're still kind of connected, and it's who you are. Fox, you the same? Yeah, I bet. A lot of family. Just before satin night falls, we sit outside on the porch, on the steps, in the metal lawn chairs, and it's celebration time. So remember how in the beginning it was a cloud of darkness and he woke up to the tickling of the sun? Well, now it's the opposite. It's going into night. And what is night? It's satin. It's nice and smooth. And I'm assuming black satin here, but it hasn't happened yet. Our people were stolen from Africa and shipped to this continent in chains, Daddy says. But no one could lock away their dreams. They dreamed on this land during slavery. They dreamed on this land as they made their way out of no way and fought Jim Crow. 75 years ago, a farmer and a teacher bought this land. And Daddy gazes at Granny. And look at us now. So he's saying if you can believe and you can keep believing, hopefully life can go on. And it has gone to this point where there are big families sitting around on the property that they owned. Probably the property that the great-great-great-grandfamily might have been slaves on. One after another, cousins offer their tributes. Sis's song makes Granny's eyes shine. Isaiah's poem, gets everyone nodding. And then I step forward. Now, Millie, why is Granny's eyes shining when she hears that song? Yeah, she's getting tears in her eyes and it's kind of shining. We ought to get together and make a performance there. I feel like the spotlight is blazing on me. I look down and I say nothing. So there he is. And he's kind of jittery a little bit. And when he looks up, he's lost his words. Then, "It's okay, Lord Alan," Sis whispers. And I lift my head and I see gleaming smiles and I try again. So the sister says, "I got your back. You do it, Alan. You know you can do it." And he's going to read a little speech that he's written in his head, that he's memorized. "Cotton for the quilts Granny made to keep her children warm. I say holding a white cloud in my fingers." Now remember the cloud was like in his head and he was going to sleep and now he's got a cloud in his hand. And the cloud this time is the cotton that the family farm makes its money off of. "A pecan for the trees Pop planted and all the kids loved to climb. And I pinched dirt and let it rain to the ground. And earth that is ours as far as I can see." So he takes the dirt from the soil that grows so you got the cotton plants that grow out of the dirt and he's got the dirt in his hands and he turns it over and he sprinkles it out. He doesn't just say it drops to the ground. He says, yeah, right, it rains. "I pinched the dirt and let it rain to the ground. And the earth for land that's ours as far as we can see. Fireflies wink and whirl in a carnival around us." So the story's bringing it back to nighttime, and you can see the sparkling of the fireflies. "That's all right," I hear Granny say. And Daddy flashes a thumbs up. I grin at the moon. It glows back at me. So why do you think when he grins at the moon, what's going on there? He's looking up and he's completed his speech and is saying, and it's real bright because the moon is smiling at him. All is good. "We're a mighty family," Daddy booms. "Mighty. We all roar back. Then we try to make the night stretch on forever. As grown-ups slap cards and checkers against the table, we cousins dig through old trunks and laugh until our heart explodes. Too soon our goodbye morning comes and we hug all the way to the door. Then we climb into our car and watch Granny in her house shrink and disappear. But you see, like, they don't say we played games or we played dominoes. They did the action of playing cards. So now you're knowing they're playing it. We slap cards and checkers against the table as we dig through the trunks. So you know they're playing cards because they slap them on the ground. You didn't have to even say that. And we go down home. When we go down home with Daddy, everything seems to hold a piece of him and us. Now remember what he did? What was he holding in his hand? Dirt. But what was the dirt? What is the dirt? Mackenzie? Yeah, the dirt is the farm. So when they end this right here, this is the ending of the book. When they end it, when we go down home with Daddy, everything we see holds a piece of him. So when you hold a piece, the farm holds him and Daddy holds the farm. We head up onto the highway thinking about family and dreaming about next year. And what I like, so there's the scene when they, this is the scene they're going to see next year when they show up. It's the scene when they showed up this year. And it's also the scene when they leave. And then if you look at this page over here, yeah, it's the inside of the cover. And it folds right into the last page of the book. Hope you guys enjoy that book. I hope I didn't talk too much during the middle of it. But it really is a beautiful story. And also the pictures are really beautiful. I hope you can enjoy that. And I'll see you next week.